Hey everybody, welcome back to the Face Off Figures channel. My name is Aiden, and I'm incredibly excited to be with you here again to talk about a new figure. This is a very special occasion because normally we talk about primarily Marvel Legends on this channel from Hasbro, so like main toy line companies. We also do dabble into NECA toys and also Jada toys, but this is my first time getting an import figure, and that being from MAFEX. This is the MAFEX Metacom toy Spider-Man No Way Home Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, or as many of you know, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I just got this figure in the mail, and I thought there's so much I want to say and talk about and to show that I thought it was worthy doing a review on. Plus, it's something entirely different we're looking at than what I'm normally used to when it comes to action figures. I'm used to mainline retail. So what's an import figure like to me? What do I think of it? Well, we're going to get into that. I did, just to give a little backstory to this, because I've had quite the journey with this guy. So last April of 2024, the pre-order and photos dropped for this figure. And I got it around the time when they were having the Spider-Man screenings, when they were like re-releasing all the films in cinemas. So you can go see the Raimi trilogy, you got to see the TASM films, and you can also see the MCU home trilogy. So I went to go see for the first time. I was able to catch Spider-Man 2 in the theater, and when I got back, the pre-order dropped for this figure, and I was so impressed by the photos. It looked incredible. I decided to pull the trigger and pre-order it. Cut to within the past couple weeks, I want to say, when this figure dropped, like a week or two ago. I saw initial photos because I was been waiting. This figure's been delayed. It was supposed to come out in like December of last year, if I'm not mistaken. And it finally released around the end of March, coming into late April. So it's been about a year now. And I saw initial photos before really anyone took them and posed them in like a spectacular way to really convey a lot of what the figure is able to do. I wasn't impressed. I was quite disappointed, in fact, by his appearance and how he looked, and it came to a point where I made a decision to cancel my pre-order. I canceled it, and I thought I made the right choice at the time. I thought, you know what, I'm going to save money here. I was just disappointed by how the figure looked. It was too it wasn't bright enough. It just didn't correlate to how I imagined what the initial promo photos were showing of the figure. It didn't look like the same exact figure when it came to paint apps primarily. It was the appearance of the figure. And I mostly was thinking that because I'm spending $100 on an action figure, so I would like for it to be the best quality possible. And now having it in hand, and especially messing with it for a bit prior to recording this, I can say I'm quite happy with what I have here. But there are some nitpicks. It's not absolutely perfect, but we're going to get into all of that. So, yes, I ended up reordering the figure because I saw the amazing photos that people have been putting out, posing him, and I was getting serious FOMO where I'm like, okay, I got to get this. Because honestly, I don't see how they're going to make a better Tobey Maguire action figure anytime soon from any mainline company, but even in general, because I think this figure, while it has a little bit of some issues, it's very minor to me, but I can look over that because this guy is phenomenal. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is, like many people of my generation, incredibly important. He is the stasis of a live-action Spider-Man. He started it all, but the costume is iconic. It's the portrayal of the character. The Raimi films are so sacred to so many people like me and Thatch. That's also why I decided to go ahead and order a figure like this, because, you know what, I've never got an import figure, so this is a good opportunity to try it out, see how I like it. Do I intend to get another one immediately after this? Not necessarily, because I can't think of anything off the top of my head that is as important to me as like getting a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man figure. And I have plenty of other figures, don't get me wrong. I have some original ones. I'll go into some comparisons later. We'll show that off. But yeah, I reordered him, and it's been a hassle because the past couple days, I was supposed to get him on Monday, and they tried dropping off my house, and they wanted a signature because this guy's coming from Japan. I'm catching at the right time as well with a lot of things going on in the world, so I didn't have to pay an absurd amount of money. I actually ended up paying for this guy much cheaper than my initial pre-order was on a different website. I did a different website for this one. So I managed to go to the post office today and pick him up, and I just got back, not even like, it was like an hour ago. So I had a little bit of time to unbox him. I originally was just going to keep him in the box and then do the review like this, but I really wanted to have some time, a little bit of play with him. I don't think I have it enough yet, but that's what this review is going to be. I want to say it's more of like an exploration of the figure. So we're going to get into all of that. But first, I do want to take a look at the box real quick. We're going to move Toby aside for just a moment. And that Doctor Strange portal. So here's the box. And it's pretty standard. It's got the No Way Home deco. You got Toby in the corner here, which that uses the promo photos. So this is number 241, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So you had Toby in the front here. He had all his accessories. You really can't see it all, but he has a shit ton of hands. 3 different heads, 2 unmasked, 1 masked. We'll get into all the accessories in a bit. You got on the side, you got a landing pose with Toby there. Looks sick. Love it. And we got the back here. Oh man, I love how these shots look, especially the colors on the suit. It looks, oof. These were the photos that convinced me to get the figure to begin with. But yeah, MAFEX, Spider-Man No Way Home. Some other information I can't read because it's in a different language. And we got Toby on the side here, which that's recreating a pose that he strikes when he's falling off the scaffolding in the Statue of Liberty at the end of the movie. And there's the bottom for anyone curious. So yeah, pretty standard box. Not that big, honestly. A bit smaller than I expected. There's Toby right in front of it to give you an idea. So, you know, he had him right around the corner. But yeah, I'm going to keep the box. You know, I think he comes with so many accessories. I was like going to go back and forth. Like, do I keep the accessories in there? But I'm going to get like my own Ziploc bag for it. But yeah, there's the box. So we'll move that aside. And now let's get into the real meat and potatoes of this review. Alright, I know you guys have already been staring at Toby standing like this for a couple minutes anyway, but we're really going to talk about him now. We're going to look at the details, we're going to look at the articulation, talk about the accessories. So yeah, Toby by himself, he has surpassed of my initial thoughts of how he was going to look. He is a lot more glossy than I anticipated, and that was something that was a turnoff for me. But honestly, having it in hand really does a difference, and it looks quite spectacular, honestly. They did a lot of interesting choices for paint apps, but I will say the overall appearance of the figure looks quite great. It looks like Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man. This is obviously capturing more or less the No Way Home look for the suit because it's slightly different. Primarily, you can notice in the mask. They did make him a little more muscular on this suit, but not by much. So you can see there's tremendous paint apps on this figure. I want to point out. Hopefully, you can. It's gonna focus. There we go. Yeah. Wow. I love how this detail works. So the sculpting, they got the right pattern on the suit because it has the 2 different ones going back and forth from where you have the red and the blue. Interesting color choice for the web lines because they're always been kind of like either a silver or like almost a gunmetal gray or like a dark silver. And they kind of went down the middle for it because if you look at like Spider-Man 3, he has like a bright silver on his suit in that movie. No Way Home is kind of like a little bit back to like the first movie, I want to say. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the detail here, as you can see the textures throughout the suit, looks great. The web lines look very clean, but they did some shading underneath the chest here and even by the abs, which is something that I haven't seen the other Toby figures that have been made for this movie that being done. As we can look on the side of his arms as well. Now you got the spider symbol in the back. It looks a little wonky here to me, especially how it parts It's not that skinny in the middle from I remember of having that symbol. The top half is right, but yeah, I don't like how it kind of, I know it's supposed to, it goes up when you have the back forward, but the top half forward. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because it looked a little, if I compare it to, I got it on hand, the Marvel Legends No Way Home one, you could see it's got more of a thicker body in the middle. It doesn't like get skinny in the big against. It looks like it's from the top right there. You can see where it cuts off. It looks like it's supposed to have the fatter end here, but unless it's supposed to look like, yeah, it's supposed to be like that. But interesting to compare them. You already see these guys are completely different colors, but we'll get into more of that later. So yeah, what else to show? Oh, they did some shading on the shoulders as well. It might be a little hard to tell on camera, especially different lighting. That's why I think this is one of those things where this is a figure you have to get in your hands for yourself to really prove of what you think of it. Because I feel like I have a more positive opinion having it in hand. But I do want to talk about the mask. So, like I said already, this look is based on Tobey's appearance in No Way Home. And in No Way Home, they modified his mask quite a bit. It's not as, his chin's not as prominent as before. It's more like flattened down, and the eye lenses are a bit different, but they kind of stray away from it a little bit here. It's basically in lieu of that. But no, it looks great. I really love how this turned out. The lenses, the paint on that looks great. I know a lot of people have been putting like a flat coat on this figure, just to not make it look as glossy. I think I'm going to leave it the way it is, but I know people are also getting different head modifications for making it look like having the bigger jaw like before, pronounced jaw, like he had in like Spider-Man 1 through 3, primarily like 2 and 3. But yeah, I think the head sculpt looks great. The paint apps for the most part look good, but you can tell the red line that's on top of the left eye lens, that is off a little bit, but it's only when you're kind of like looking from that angle, but like looking on, yeah, you can kind of tell it's drooping a little bit. It doesn't really affect that for me all that much, but the web lines and the rest of the head look quite clean, and the same texture on the suit remains throughout. You got the web belt, so you can see the points of articulation where it comes off from the top half. You got the middle belly, and then you got the undies. Thank God it's not like the ugly diaper that the SH Figure Arts had. I'm sorry, I don't like that figure. Thatch can tell you that was the one import figure that Thatch tried to give a shot for, and it was just awful. He had a bad experience, and I feel so sorry for him. But this it looks a lot better as a figure. It's a standard. Keep it that way. But I got some things about this when we get into the articulation. Sorry, I'm just doing all the close-ups here. So right now I have him with fisted hands. I just want to show the arms again, all the detail around. I do appreciate that they cut up the inside with the joint. They have one side blue, one side red, so they didn't like dedicate to one whole color. They split it up. I love that. That keeps it consistent throughout. Even underneath, we have the butterfly joints, or like it's a dumbbell one, I want to say. I almost want to say it was butterfly because they can actually go up. But you have the blue that stays consistent underneath. Not every Tobey figure has that. Outside of the actual joint itself, which I think they could have gone away. I guess they could have gone away getting it blue because you have a little bit stick out the top, but primarily on the bottom underneath. But who's going to look underneath Tobey's armpit, really? Even I wanted to point out the neck. Yeah, the sculpting is superb. And then looking down to the boots, they keep the web lines looking pretty clean. So you got the legs with that shade of blue. Looks good. So he's got his feet are a little tiny, I think, just a little bit tiny. If they were a little bit bigger, but I'm used to like the big monster feet on the Marvel Legends Tobey, so they'll take me some time for getting used to. But yeah, so that's basically the main details with Tobey here. Now I want to get into his articulation. So I guess I'll start first with his head. So he has it on a dumbbell. I'm sorry if I mispronounce anything with articulation. I'm kind of out of the loop right now with trying to show off this figure because it's kind of a surreal thing for me. But yes, so you have a dumbbell here. It's not like a straight shot up. It's on. We'll just take this off, right? So you could pop the head off because you could swap with different heads. So you got a ball right there, and then you're gonna have it connected to the top here, and there's another ball inside underneath the mask with the neck there. So his head can look up that far, which I say is pretty awesome. That is perfect to me. That's like as far back as you can get it. I don't have to modify anything with that. That is spectacular. And then for looking down without popping off the head, it's not bad. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think I want him to look down just a little bit more, and then he looks really sad like this, honestly. So yeah, and now we'll try with the forward ab crunch. Go forward. So with this little diaper, his big undies on the bottom, they kind of flex the part a little bit, so you can try and get over forward as much as possible. So that's about as forward as I can get. That's pretty good. That's not bad. It reminds me of the Legends one. People probably set me on fire for saying that, but I'll show off a comparison with that in a bit anyway, once again. And then if we bring his back, that's not bad as well. Pretty good. I don't know if he's going to be able to, like in Spider-Man 2, when he's putting his back and trying to miss the bridge as he's on the train. But yeah, it's not bad. Good range there. For the arms, very interesting. So I mentioned them earlier. They're not butterflies, but they're dumbbells. So you got a lot of range. You can bring them all the way up like this. His arms can go up this high. So everyone's like, smell my pits. That's what he's saying. And then you can bring them, you can droop them down. I know a lot of people have a lot of, not a lot of complaints, but their main gripe with the figure is how the shoulders look. I kind of agree. It kind of looks a little bit odd, but to me, it's not too bad. It doesn't like ruin the whole image of the figure. Then you can move the arms this much forward with the dumbbells. It kind of looks like he's trying to be a tough guy here. That's not bad. So you have quite a bit of room because there's like a curve right here of up and almost to the front of his chest. So you can have him go this much forward, but you can, oh man, I haven't even tried this yet, but you can cross his arms that far. That is awesome. I absolutely love that. That's sick. All right, and then you can bring them about, is that how far back they can go? Let's see. Yeah, about this far back, like that. So that's not bad. So you got that much back. Yeah, let me try them with actually having the arms back. Yeah, so you like have them stretch and then bring them forward. So that's awesome. I think that's some good range. That's some good range there. All right, and then for the arms, right? So you have a swivel, bicep swivel. You can bring the arms up about that much with using the double jointed pinless there. But if you want to use one part of the joint, say for instance, I'm going to try. Now you can just, you can bring up that much. So that's not bad. I think it'd be a bit better, but yeah, pretty good. For what it needs to be, I think it's pretty good. It's just hitting the bicep right there. And then you have a swivel here. It actually has, you can take off the hands, of course, but I'm extremely concerned about breaking these off when I'm swapping the shit ton of hands that he comes with, the pegs. So you can swivel them a little bit so you can make like a vertical hinge or horizontal. I've seen these with, I want to say, McFarlane figures, but also like model kits I've gotten before as well. But yeah, I'm going to be extremely careful when it comes to these, but you can have them basically side to side, but if you can twist them a little bit, you can make them vertical. So I just trying to move them without actually having the hands on. That's something I'm just working with, having them on there. I just also want to point out the torso articulation again. I already did the ab crunch and everything, but I also want to point out you can turn his top torso 360 degrees, and you can get some on the lower half I don't like that pop sound. It sounds pretty tight. I don't want to break anything. It's the last thing I want to do, but yeah, you can get some range out of there. I'm going to break that in a little bit or put some kind of lubricant on it so it's a bit more, like when I pose them a bit more freely like this. Because when I got in the box, this lower stomach portion of the torso was kind of off a little bit, so I had to like reposition it coming out. But yeah. So when now we get down to the legs, we can have him kick up about that much. Pretty good. Pretty high. So he does have drop down hips. So you get him here. I'll just show you where he's like by himself, right? All right, so that's Toby with the drop down hips down, and then that's with the drop down hips up. Hips up, drop hips up. I don't know. But yeah, pretty good. It allows for some motion if you want to have his legs up like this. If you want to have him pull a pose where he's like having a web underneath his himself and like having his legs forward kick. I'm not used to. I want to analyze the joints here if we can. So you see the drop down hips there, and it's like on a ball that probably has a peg in there that allows the leg to swivel around and everything. There's just only so much range I can get, especially with. I wish this was a little bit higher with the diaper. Just to get the right amount of range, but it also allows me to move it a little bit because it's a rubber basically, so I can have it up as high as possible, but I wouldn't want to keep it in a position like that forever. Oh yeah, ooh, hey, look at that range. Holy shit, that is what I'm talking about, man. Wow. It's crazy. So yeah, you can get the legs forward like that, but let me show you properly once again. So yeah, you can bring him forward about this much, and then you can bring his legs back with it kicked in. He can kick his own ass. Basically. Yeah. Basically. It's a little off. But it's there. That's great. That's what I want. But you can see the calf doesn't even touch the thigh. So yeah, that's awesome. So similar situation with the hands. We got Toby's feet that can swap off because he comes with really awesome magnetic feet. But it's the same deal where you have it on these little pegs that you can turn around a little bit if you want to make them horizontal or vertical. It makes it a lot easier for when you want to pose them in like a crouching pose or something else. So I absolutely appreciate that option. I'm not as concerned about breaking these off because I'm not always going to be swapping the feet 1,000 times. But yeah, putting the feet back on, Toby does have toe articulation as well. So you can pull the feet up about that much, which I say is a good range. So yeah, love it. And I believe that is everything for Toby's articulation. And now we can get into the boatload of accessories that he comes with. One more thing I just forgot to mention when I was initially going over details was the spider symbol. It looks spot on. I just want to say it looks great. They didn't really change anything about it. It just looks like the Tobey Maguire chest spider symbol. It looks awesome. I don't know. I thought that was worthy of mentioning. But anywho, so yeah, accessories, right? I've already had this one in the background for the majority of the reviews so far. It's the Doctor Strange portal. This was how we saw Toby introduced. He wasn't obviously in full costume attire like Andrew. He came in unmasked in like casual civilian outfits. I think they made a joke saying he looked like a youth pastor or something. But yeah, so it's a cool accessory. I don't even have one of these. I know they released one, Hasbro did, for when they did the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness movie. I didn't end up getting that figure, unfortunately. But now I have one. I just think it might be a little too small in scale to put it with other MCU figures. But hey, I can try and manipulate it for photo purposes or even on the shelf. But yeah, really neat accessory to include. The other ones don't even come with this, so I appreciate it. And so, talking about the first set of accessories, we do have. I'll talk about the hands, right? He's got two-fisted hands. Toby's ready to brawl it out. Something I notice about the hands, right, is that they are painted a little bit differently than the majority of the figure. It still seems to have like the gunmetal, like dark gray silver on it, bright silver, but it's so tiny it's hard to tell. You can kind of tell in this hand, but a lot of the paint apps are kind of sloppy on these hands, and that's a little gripe I do have with the figure. I don't like how sloppy the paint apps are. I feel like when I'm paying $100 or more for an import figure, for a figure like this, I would like the quality to be, pristine in every regard. But the fact that it's with the hands, I'd rather it be with the hands than the actual figure itself. So it's not a huge deal. But yes, here's Toby with his set of hands. So that's one set of hands he comes with. I don't even know how many he comes with in this set, honestly. I've not counted. But majority of the hands, when you get them out of the package, they come with a little clip so they can be easier. A lot of them did fly out when I opened it, but it kind of keeps them together. And you don't like lose them all. But I'm going to try and keep these. But here we have Toby's flippers. He's got to have flippers, man. You don't release a Spider-Man figure and not have flippers with him. And both sets at that. I'm talking to you, Hasbro. Anyway, this is not the Hey Hasbro. But flippers are cool. I'm used to, I don't know. No, they're good flippers. I always am like peculiar about what pose the hand should be. So it should be like a straight finger one or more curled up. I like the curled up ones for Toby. They work. Toby has like some of the best like Spider-Man like gloved fingers because of the web line loops he has around his figure that are raised, the raised webs, and it looks just awesome. So these are great hands. I love how they look. Sick, awesome. Now going into, let's see what we want to pick out next. Open hands. So open hands are really cool. I do like these. Toby looks kind of like, he's like, hey. I do like that. They're good for wall crawling. I do like, especially a little bit more with the Marvel Legends figure, is when they did the hands, like the more like curled up, because that's something like out of the Raimi trilogy where Spider-Man really had those fingers, like in the comics, just curl. I always like when they're more curled up and not his fingers like flatten out completely. So I wish that he came with something like that, but that's fine. They work. It's wall crawling hands. All right, it's not a big deal. So we got the flippers done. We got the fists. We got that. All right. So let's do some. Do I have this one out already? Okay, yeah, I do. All right. So we have some like half open gesture hands. These are like grabbing hands for like holding onto an object. And he comes with two things you can hold in this pack, which I'll show also. But you can see the paint apps. Like, look at the. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you can see it's kind of splotchy with the paint apps, especially like you see by the third finger there. But doesn't look bad. Yeah, just looks a little bit much going on right there. But yeah, not bad at all. This hand actually looks a bit better. I like how that looks, the colors stick out a bit more. But yeah, a lot of detail you're trying to put in for small hands. I get it. So actually, I might get these hands mixed up, because it looks like you have another set that looks exactly the same, but the hands look slightly more open. I don't know, honestly, what you have. Maybe you can have him hold stuff. Yeah, you see the fingers are out more. It doesn't look bad. Like these as well. I always like open hands and just allow some more expressions to be had with the figure. I do want to talk about the holding hands he has. He has for his webs. He can hold his webs. So we got that. But it looks like he's just giving a thumbs up, which I like as well. That allows for a different option for expression. If I can get this on the peg properly. I'm trying to be careful, once again, because I don't want to break the peg off while trying to, make these hands fit on. But yeah, Spider-Man approves. So yeah, I like these quite a bit. You have a hole on the top, so you can insert. We're just going to go ahead and cut to the chase, because we have the web hand there. We have a web effect here. You see, just insert it right in there. It kind of flails around. Looks like he's trying to walk the dog a little bit. If you had a dog, I don't know. But yeah, I like these hands. They're cool. glad we came with them. They're more enclosed, so they have an effect that works exactly for them. All right, so we got another couple more sets of hands we're still going through here. We got a double finger pointing one. I don't know what the purpose of these are, because the next set of hands I'm going to talk about are actually, it looks like you can do like when he's telling the kids to stay out of the street in Spider-Man 2, when he salutes to them. I like that quite a bit, so that's fun. But yeah, I'm not complaining. Hey, we're getting another set of hands, so or you can do, I don't know, it's trying to be cool. Hey, you know, I don't know, but they're great. Double finger one. You can pretend he has like a gun, but why would Spider-Man do that? I don't know. Anyway, now we have the moment you've been waiting for. Everyone's been waiting for. These are the finger pointing hands. So you can, if you have all three of the MAFEX figures, I know Andrew's still supposed to come out, but you can have them posed and have pointing at each other. Finger pointing the circle. But yeah, you gotta have Spider-Man to do that. Or you can have him pick his nose. That's an option as well. Or you can do, I don't know, pretend he has a mustache. Or he's saying PU, you know. But yeah, awesome. Love it, love it, love it. And now for the last set of hands, we have, they look just like ones we already looked at already. Open hands, but they're supposed to be magnetic. And they're awesome. If the camera would focus, there you go. And the same as I will show, as I mentioned already. There we go. So there's the magnetic hands. I don't have anything magnetic right now aside from my light that I'm trying to use to record this video to show him on that, but I will definitely show some photos at the end of this. But yeah, so speaking of the other magnets in the hands, that's everything for the hands. For the feet, so we can pop the feet off. These are the standard feet, and then we're going to take, if I can put the right feet on, here's the left foot. Just making sure it's on that peg. There we go. Got two magnets. Ooh, goodness. Magnets on there. So one at the toe joint and one at the end near the middle of the foot. And you put that on the right one. And boom. Toby is ready to stick to any magnetic walls that you may have. This is a weird shot. But yeah, there you go. So he looks sick. Looks pretty standard. But yeah, that's it for Toby's hands and feet. Now let's look at the other accessories like the web effects, but more importantly, the different heads. Alright, don't mind the pose I have Toby in here because I don't really know what I'm doing. But yeah, I just want to show off the heads now. So I kind of went over this earlier when we were talking about the articulations, that you can pop this head off. There's really no force you have to have behind it. You can put it to a side, and then you can grab one of the Toby heads, and it pops right on that ball. And it gets on there, and there's our boy, Toby freaking Maguire. And does it look like him? I mean, yeah. I think it's probably the best head we've gotten from of Toby ever, I want to say, for like this kind of scale of figure, you know, not including like Hot Toys, but like the Marvel Legends one isn't all that great, if I'm being honest. I'll show you guys, right? So on the right we have the MAFEX, and on the right is the Marvel Legends. So yeah, I think they really nailed it. MAFEX really did. I think it looks like Toby, and it's excellent. Sculpt was nice, the hair. Yeah, no, this is not like one I don't want to like display. I may have him wear it sometimes. Just have him unmasked, but yeah, it looks excellent. The Marvel Legends one just doesn't really, I don't know, doesn't really hit the spot, you know. It's, and I know that they are just going to be putting out the Spider-Man 3 emo version, so that's going to be fun to look at as well. But yeah, I don't know, it's very interesting to look at how they tackled. I think, honestly, the SH Figure Arts one is probably the worst. That head looks atrocious. 100%. The Legends Toby looks much better than that. But yeah, I would say this is now my new favorite. It looks just like Toby. The proportions, you look at the differences in how they sculpt the head, it's very interesting. So, and then I also will show, so this is Toby with a neutral look, and then you can kind of pop off, I haven't tried this yet, so bear with me, pop off the actual head. You can see part of it has the cut of the mask by the neck, so it's not completely flesh. But yeah, that pops out. You got a little bit of red inside. And then we can take the other smiley head, more of like a goofy little Toby look. There we go. Line up his neck properly. And we pop that on. And Toby's all happy. Look at him. That's Tobey Maguire. That's excellent. That looks great. Really, really spot on. Yeah, I love how that looks. Incredibly fun. It's pretty well proportioned with the rest of the body, pretty much, I would say. Doesn't look far off. Doesn't look too tiny. Doesn't look too big. I think it looks just right, honestly. So let's do a comparison with these guys while I got them here. Yeah, you see Marvel Legends one's a little bit taller than what we have with the MAFEX Toby, but the appliance of this is more painted over. That's sculpted with the plastic to have for the skin. Even the hair is like a slightly different color. You see it's more flattened out. It's more glossy, but the details are more apparent on the MAFEX one than so with the Legends one. I appreciate the attempt they did. I was very excited when this came out, but over time it's fine. It's okay. But this, man, ooh, that's really awesome. Really awesome. But yeah, so those are both Toby heads. I think they are excellent. I think it's very well done. Very happy with it. So with Toby as well, when you don't have him wearing the mask, you can have him holding the mask. This is one of my favorite things with the figure, honestly, because I always love when they include unmasked stuff. Let me get Toby in different hands here. Yeah, I always love when Toby takes off the mask, but this is the best mask accessory they have made in a long time. I don't remember from a lot of the Toy Biz ones, but the sculpt on this looks fantastic. I don't like the SH Figure Arts one because it just has both lenses flat. It looks like Spider-Man's face just got flattened out with the mask. I like when it's folded to the side. We have one lens here and on the other side, but the way it's folded, it looks awesome. Love the paint naps. Looks excellent. It's harder to tell with the silver, but that paint really shines through quite nicely. And then with using one of the holding hands that Toby comes with, you can just slip that mask. Oh, I was to say with no trouble. All right, and there you go. I put the neutral face back on Toby, but he can see there he's holding that mask. That looks sick. Oh, I love how that looks. That's just a great sculpt, but you see it fits very well in the hand once you get it posed. Just have it kind of scrunch around it. That looks awesome. Absolutely love that. So just like in the movie, Toby comes with the Sandman Cure. It's the mini collider, which is referenced off the same mechanism machine that turns Sandman into Sandman. It's very nicely painted with detail. They have some wires, some little silver bits. It's a cool accessory because none of the other Toby figures they release from other companies have included this, I don't think. I know that from Legends, but you can put that in one of his open hands as well, and that holds it quite nicely. So you can have him fight Sandman and try to cure some ass at the same time. So that's awesome. Absolutely love that. Now, I also want to show, I already mentioned them earlier, the web accessories. So you get two of these long web accessories. They're nicely sculpted and done. They're kind of like a little bit spaghetti ones, like Todd McFarlane webbing. A little bit knots in the middle, but they're clear plastic, and they have a little pointed tip at the end. And then you have a handle on the end, which I referred to earlier when you use the gripping hands, the thumbs up ones. They slide right in there and hold on to them. So it's more of an angle when it comes to the gripping hands for him. But that's how you can have Toby in his hands for these two. Now for the remaining ones, those are the longest ones I just pointed out. You get two of these. So you get two of the smaller ones. It's kind of same deal. It's about, I want to say, a couple marks off of what we just had initially, so it's a bit longer, but these actually go around his wrist. So if I want to take I hate to take the mask hand thing, the bob off, but we're going to put this, the loop, through the peg. Not use an open hand. I meant to grab, I got like a whole pile of all these hands, a thwip hand. And so there you go. You can kind of manipulate how you want to have it posed out, because given that this is on the peg that it is, it allows for some movement of the horizontal and vertical. So if you want to angle his hand down, the effect will follow with it. But that looks clean as all get out. I love how that works and how it looks. So yeah, that looks stunning. So you could take that off. So you get two of those medium-sized ones, and then you get two itty-bitty little tiny ones. And there's the tiny ones. Same deal. You got the loop around the wrist, throw it on there, and boom. You got Toby shooting some webs. He's like, you're annoying me. So, yeah, that is basically... Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of... I was about to skip this, but it comes with the figure, so I got to point it out. It comes with a stand. Nothing crazy. I don't have a stand like this that's quite articulated, but am I going to use it for Toby? Maybe, but I'm not seeing anyone talk about these stands. I don't know if people like these stands. Maybe they hate them. But yeah, you get the stand here. You got the 3 points of movement, so you can kind of have it. I wish it was a little bit taller, to be honest with you. It also comes with this rod. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know if it's supposed to make the stand taller. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Probably. I don't know what to do with this piece, but it looks like another one that can connect with the clasp that you can put around Toby's torso. So let me try and actually... Alright, so I'm trying to pose him on this big one, but I can't even... He's gonna look like this, so I don't like it how it's at his torso like that. So I'm gonna go with the smaller one. Or is this wider? I think it's wider. Hold on. Yeah. Alright, I don't know. I think that's why people don't mess with it, because it doesn't really work with Toby, but I can try and mess with it a bit more. This is a weird ass pose, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's all the accessories. That's Toby himself. And now let's get into the final portion of this review, where we do some comparisons with previous Toby figures and other Tobey Maguire Spider-Man villains as well. And so for our first comparison, I thought it made sense to take a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Tobey that we've gotten. That was the first real... was it the first real No Way Home Tobey figure we got? I think it was. As you look at these guys, I would hope you would think that the MAFEX is the better of the two, because by appearance, he certainly is. Tobey from the Marvel Legends version is quite not a cherished figure whatsoever by the community. I appreciate him. I still like him. I don't love him now, but he's not my... I don't have favorites in the family, but yeah, I just proportions and there's some marks that were missed with this one. I don't hate it, but the web line's always been kind of a mess. The colors are always... That's been the biggest problem with this figure for me. I have not been a fan of his colors whatsoever. It's almost this bright orange, almost, it wants to be. But it reminds me of the color of the figures that we would see on the Spider-Man 3 figures that Hasbro did back in 2007. I don't understand what the color palette happened here. But yeah, I still appreciate the figure for what he was. The web lines are a mess. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting just to have these two side by side now, because the Friendly Neighborhood one feels... It does represent the No Way Home version, but also feels much more reminiscent of the Sam Raimi trilogy by his look. And I think proportions are somewhat better. You see the shoulders quite fly out a bit there, but if I bring them in, bring the arms down a little bit, yeah, Tobey's a little bit taller, even with the mask head on. I always don't know what's going on with his lower stomach there, but yeah, it's quite flat. It almost looks like it wants to be a gut, but it's not. So there you have both figures on the side, and then the back. I do prefer the spider symbol on Tobey than this MAFEX one, the Hasbro MAFEX. I don't want to get them confused with everybody, but yeah, just overall, this guy really takes it out of the park with the web detail, the colors, and even the articulation. So this is definitely my new favorite of my Toby figures. And just to go over one more time, because we kind of did it already, here we have I have a duplicate, obviously, because I got the initial 3-pack when Hasbro put out No Way Home stuff. And then I got the single release that came with the unmasked head. So there you go. There you have that. I kind of went over those heads already. The MAFEX one, I think, is much better. But yeah, still interesting to see these guys next to each other. They're very different in many different ways, but interesting to compare them. So I still really like this figure, the Hasbro one, but it's definitely not my desired or favorite by any means. But yeah, I appreciate it nonetheless. So let's take a look at the next figure. So taking it back quite a bit, we're going back to 2002. We have the first Tobey Maguire figure we ever gotten. Next to now, I guess that technically this is the latest. This is the 2002 Toy Biz Spider-Man. I love this guy. I've had him for about 5 years now. I've messed with him a whole bunch. He's, it looks like he's over 20 years old, and he's an awesome figure. I never owned the 2004 Spider-Man 2 Toy Biz figure, unfortunately, so I can't do a comparison for that with the MAFEX one here, but I definitely wanted to pull this guy out and show him. And man, the years have gone by, man. Toy Biz really did knock it out of the park back then with their sculpting. They had some weird proportions on a lot of their figures, but I love the Toby figure we have here. So obviously it's more representative of the first movie, especially when you look at the spider symbol. It's very different from that one because that's the one they kind of incorporated in the second movie. You can tell, man, it's really fascinating to see these guys. Toby does not, the Toy Biz one does not like to stand up at all. But the detail, the amount of sculpt work they put into these figures at that time is just unprecedented. It is awesome. They even went to the point of when they put the web shooters, which that's probably based off concept art because Toby has the organic ones, so they never really had a hole for where well, they kind of have a hole. I don't know, but I don't think so. Usually they don't have a hole for when Toby has like actual gadget web shooters, but that's still awesome. And look, even the articulation, that forearm twist, just awesome. I have a soft spot for this guy. He's great. But yeah, it's interesting to compare these two and see how far we have come. So that's it for this one. But also, while we're at it, this is basically the same figure but different detailing and sculpting. This is one of my favorite Spider-Man figures probably ever. This is just like the same body as the 2002 Toy Biz one I just showed, but this is the battle damage version that we see Toby in at the end of the first Spider-Man when he gets a tar kicked out of him by fighting the Green Goblin. And my God, I love the sculpt work on this figure. Any kind of hero that is like battle damage, I always think it's the coolest look ever. Spider-Man is up there for looking the best. I would love a new comic-based battle damage or battle ravage Spider-Man because we need it. But yeah, this guy looks great. Doesn't quite look like Toby there, I know, but the amount of like just torn parts of his costume all over. They basically did his entire body aside from the lower legs with the boots. But even on the back, they went all out for this guy. So he's basically the same figure as the one I just showed. But yeah, I do like the highlights of blue they added there. I'm not here to talk about him, but I really love this figure. I just want to say that. It's one of my favorite Spider-Man figures ever. So glad. I got him for a great price for a couple years ago. But yeah, those are... Oh, actually, I have one more Toby this year. Hold on. All right, this one's not quite the same costume, but it is the same costume. I'll just show you right here. This is the 5-inch, I think they made it. Or no, this is like the 2010 re-release of the Spider-Man 3 black suit figure that was a 3/4 inch one. If that makes any sense. So what they did is that basically they scaled up the sculpt that was the 3/4 inch black suit figure because the 6-inch one that Hasbro made was absolutely atrocious. It is one of the worst figures ever. It's funny because recently we just got the confirmation for a new release of Spider-Man 3 black suit, but it's just going to have the No Way Home body, which in essence is great, but as not a whole new figure does stink. But I got this guy like a year or so ago. I was just on a big Spider-Man 3 kick. I've wanted to have a black suit figure, and I like this guy. He's got a smushed head. He's a bit goofy. You can't do too much with him, but it's having that representation of the look of that suit of the character on the shelf. I love Toby in the black suit. It's very unique, and it's great. I know they just turned the suit black. They didn't make it entirely black, but looking at the movie's concept, they were messing with that, but it almost looked like a gimp suit. So yeah, this guy's great. I do like him, but interesting to have them compared together. Be interesting to see how this would look in black. I also got to show off the original 2002 Toy Biz Willem Dafoe, Green Goblin himself. This figure I absolutely love. Looks great next to Toby here. It looks like they just came out of the first movie, so that makes me so happy. These guys look great next to each other. I hope that Hasbro remakes this guy. Please do. Do a whole new figure. You already made the helmet. Just do something with it. Please, please, please. But yeah, love these guys together. They look great. So there you go. And I got to show off the No Way Home Hasbro Green Goblin figure they put out. I love this guy. He's great. Some like limitations in the articulation, but overall, awesome figure. These guys look great with each other. I don't have any other version of the Goblin figure they made. I don't think the head sculpts on the other company ones, like SH, look all that great. Look kind of poopy. But yeah, I love the Hasbro one. They nailed it with the Willem Dafoe head sculpt. But yeah, I'll definitely be posing these guys fighting each other on his glider. So yeah. And here we have Alfred Molina Doc Ock with him, and I didn't want to repose him with the bendy arms, tentacles, but I love this figure. It's great. It's a lot of fun. I don't have any other Alfred Molina Doc Ock, but this one is tremendous. It's awesome and looks great with Toby here. Once again, it'll make some for great photos and poses to have him fight like they did in Spider-Man 2, and a little bit in No Way Home as well. Well, not really, but yeah. And here we have Sandman, which Hasbro is the only company that has made a full-blown figure for him. So, based on No Way Home, but pretty cool. Have these guys together. Then you can have Toby fighting him and having him hold the cure as well to get him de-sandified. But yeah, these guys look pretty cool next to each other. And of course, last but not least, I gotta have the Amazing Fantasy Marvel Legends Spider-Man comparison here. Here he is with Toby. So you can see he's a little bit taller than Toby, but very interesting to see completely different sculpts from different companies entirely. You have an import figure next to a mainline retail, but yeah, just fascinating to see these guys together. Very interesting. But that about does it for all the comparisons I could think of. I hope I'm not missing anybody that I really wanted to pair Toby with, but yeah, let's wrap up this review. And that's going to do it for this review. As you can see here, I have Toby in a more dynamic pose. Not my best pose, but I'm getting used to the range that this figure has because I'm just not used to it when it comes to most figures I collect. But in due time I will. I'll probably put some more photos over the screen that I will take after recording this because I'm definitely going to be messing with him and posing him more. But overall, what do I think? Well, I think if you've watched most of this review up to this point, then you know that I'm incredibly happy with it. I'm incredibly happy with this Toby figure. I don't think you can make a more definitive Toby figure in this quality, but I can be proven wrong. Will I get it? I don't know. Depends, but I feel pretty satisfied here. I feel like this does really cap off a big portion of my collection that I've wanted to fill, even though I tried to with having the Marvel Legends Toby, but having a really sensational, I want to say, or superb Toby figure really does help that here. He's great. I'm outside of, I think people complain about the paint apps, and the shoulders. I do agree with those critiques. I'm not as harsh about it, I don't think. That's not a deal breaker for me, obviously, it was initially. But having in hand, he looks amazing. I don't think I'm going to put a matte coat on him, like a matte spray, to make that like less glossy, but he is a ton of fun to pose. You have a ton of accessories to mess with. I'm just immensely happy with Toby here. Incredibly thankful to have it as well. I don't know. I think I don't think I'm going to regret this purchase, but if you have any interest whatsoever in getting this figure, I recommend getting him. I do. I think he's worth the price. If you can get him for a good price, that's not like well over 120 or 130. I paid 100 for him. So I'm in with shipping and tax, everything included. So he was well worth the price, I think. But yeah, aside from some of the paint apps, the splotchy paint done on the hands, I think they could have been better. The shoulders look a little bit off, but the colors there, yeah. I'm happy with them. I'm going to keep repeating myself till the end of the day, but yes, this is great. This is now going to be a real display piece. Obviously, that I get to pose a bunch. I'm going to be very careful with this figure, but I'm going to have fun posing this Toby for a long time coming. So, yeah, that is it for this review. Super long one. I know it's going to be, because it's probably just like over 40 minutes of me yammering about this figure and trying to look at every aspect of it. But thank you for bearing with me and for watching this video. There will be more reviews soon. There are, in fact, 2 reviews I have in mind that I want to take a look at. Some new figures once they come in the mail, probably in the coming weeks. Won't say when, but do expect something to come out soon. Thank you all for watching. And let me know what you think of this figure in the comments below. Do you own it? Do you not? Do you want to get it? Do you not? What do you think? I'll be honestly love to talk about it with other people and see what they have to say. But that is all for now. And until then, take care.